it's COP30 this week, and I'm still well, I want to do a whole load of videos, but I've got the laptop I'm using is busted. So I have an issue with that one. Um, I've got an issue like uh, it's a bit it's a bit weird trying to get videos up from my phone to my channel. Be a proper pain in the ass. Um, so I've been trying to work out a bit because I can't. Like the webcam on my old laptop is bust, so I can't use that. Hey Billy, I can't. I can't. I've been. I was saying, Billy. Um, I've been trying to work out how to do videos via my phone. Because my laptop, like my old laptop, the hard drive's bust. Every time I boot it up, it tells me I need to check a cable, and I don't have the requisite screwdrivers or whatnot to open the laptop up, so I can't check the cable that it says I need to check. It's something to do with the hard drive. So there's nothing I can do on that one at the moment. My old laptop, the webcam is bust. It looks like a spy cam. It's that bad. So a fogged out spy cam. So I'm trying to work out how to do things via my phone at the moment. I did want to talk about COP. I want to talk about climate change. To be fair, I mean it's. I just for those for anyone Billy knows. Like Graham was just talking about this, and Graham is he's a little bit doomer. He's a little bit doomer. I love Graham, but like as a paleontologist, obviously I know climate change is real. It's not even a case of believing in climate change. I know climate change is real. Like, if it wasn't, then I wouldn't be able to come out with facts like the ice caps, the polar ice caps on this planet are only 34 million years old. So I know climate change is real, and we are on we were already on a global warming trend. The problem is that a lot of people seem to, there are quite a few people out there determined to say that, oh no, humans had nothing to do with the global climate trend, warming trend. I'm like, yeah, we have, drastically so. But Earth has seen drastic climate changes before. It's seen drastic cooling and warming, and not just over hundreds of thousands of years either. The asteroid impact 66 million years ago wasn't like drawn out over like the effects were drawn out over thousands of years. Don't get me wrong, but like it had immediate extinct extinction effects on the planet. So when it's not that what we're doing isn't the only time that an extinction event has happened. You know, we are heading towards. We've already got major ecosystems collapsing. The one the big one for me is the underwater is the marine extinctions. The coral. A lot of people are overlooking the massive coral extinctions going on, and that's a problem because a lot of, like, uh, for example, a lot of people know that the Amazon rainforest is the lungs of the world, right? And the problem here is a lot of, not what not a lot of people realize is that a lot of the oxygen actually comes from the ocean as well, from massive kelp forests and algae blooms and whatnot. Yeah, and the acidification of the oceans, the die-off of coral shows the health of our oceans, and it's just as it's just as bad with the with what we're doing to rainforests and other forests, to be fair, temperate as well, um, and boreal. You know that we are overlooking so much. Hey Brian, how's it going? Freaks, love, and blessings. We was talking about climate change and COP, and talk about earlier. I was talking about my broken laptop because yeah, that's why there's been a distinct lack of videos, especially over the past week, because I've had a lot I wanted to talk about. Um, but yeah, like I do, however, I must say, from a paleontologist position, from someone who studied the history of life on this planet for 20, 25 plus years, um, our species is one of the most adaptable this planet has seen. I do have to keep saying this, and life has existed, has flourished without the ice caps. I mean, the 150, 210 million years, right, of the non-avian dinosaurs didn't have any ice caps. 210 million years. Dinosaurs are still here. And not just little ones. I mean, there were little in comparison to, say, Tyrannosaurus Rex or Argentinosaurus. I get you. But, like, ostriches aren't small, you know? Birds are dinosaurs, brothers. They're not descended from dinosaurs, they are dinosaurs. Birds first evolved, avian dinosaurs first evolved during the Jurassic period. More than 120 million years ago. So dinosaurs are still here. Like, okay, when you look at the skeleton of a theropod dinosaur in particular, a bipedal dinosaur, a two-legged dinosaur, right? There are distinct similarities between that and birds, other theropod dinosaurs. The avian dinosaurs were able to survive the extinction 66 million years ago, in large part because of their variation in diet and their, at the time, reduced body size. But when you look at something like an ostrich or an emu today, they are with all they are missing is the long tail. And we also know that non-avian dinosaurs, like most raptorids, had feathers. We know this through volcanic fossil imprints in China, especially. Um, Not all fossil finds are the same. So again, with volcanic fossil imprints, um, you actually see the feather imprints because the the rock is basically made up of piled up ash that's solidified over millions of years. So the detail is incredibly fine. And on some of these, we've even been able to find out what some of the basic colors were. Well done, brothers. Um, so what I'm saying is like the dinosaurs are still here, and not only that, not only still here, they actually permanently inhabit more of the earth than we do. Dinosaurs still inhabit more of this planet than we do today. Every single continent on the planet. In humans, whilst humans have no, my channel is more like it is partly a journal for my political and philosophical journey. But a lot of the time, I prefer to talk about paleontology. I like to talk about the history of life on this planet. I like to talk about politics, rant about politics, but I like climate change is not something that can be denied to by a paleontologist, because otherwise I'd have to deny plenty of mass extinctions and even minor extinctions throughout prehistory. Humans, our species has actually seen. No, I'm not a teacher. I just spent my entire life being fascinated with the history of life on this planet. And now I'm 31, nearly 32. I'm looking at how what I've learned about the past may be applicable for today and the future. Lol. Um, but like it, so our species has seen a number of extinction events and survived them. I mean, at one time there were at least 5 different human species on the planet at once. At least. I can name Homo sapiens, Homo neanderthalis, Homo denisans, Homo heidelbergiensis, and Homo floresiensis. Um, I know there are a couple of others, but that's at least 5. Oh man, that's gutting. Would you get fired from McDonald's for? Yeah. And I mean, we know that these other humans existed partly through fossils, partly through archaeological finds, but also partly through the genes. Like different humans, Homo sapiens from different parts of the world actually have genomes from different other humans in them. So a lot of people in Europe have, or a lot of people who are native to Europe have Homo neanderthalis in our genome. For eating the ice cream, well, I mean, I don't particularly like McDonald's. I do have to say, however, the ice cream is nice. I will have to. I do have to admit. Um, but yeah, so whilst we can't, whilst we do have like the Nat 3 was that like set 3. I was usually set 1 or set 2 when I was in school. Um, yeah, I was like when I was in school, we had like 2 sets of sets. It was really weird. We had like M and S. We had like M 1 2 3 4 5, and then S 1 2 3 4 5. I don't know why. That's how they did it in my school, and I was mostly in at set 1, but for English, And the only reason for that is because I don't like writing a lot, and that was seen as me not like being in the top set. I was like, okay, I can read, I can read fine, I can spell fine, like I just don't like, I can't write more than half a page. I just don't like doing it. I'm not into making money, um, and where I am down here, yeah, no, where I am down here, in Torbay, it's a bit isolated. A collab. Hey, Al. That's a random chatters. Hey, Sharon. Do I play Roblox? I could swear I downloaded that to my phone a few years back, but I haven't played it in years. No, no, hang on. No, but I think I downloaded it to my laptop a few years ago. But uh, yeah, it's been a few years. I haven't played like Torbay. Yeah, South Coast, Southwest Coast. It's not as good as it used to be. Bloody Tories, but it's still nice down here. I prefer being down here. What's the collaboration? Is when two people work together, like they collaborate on a project or something. Um, yeah, no, like I sort of, the when we're looking at climate change, sea level rise is a big one because as the Earth warms, I'm not really on Roblox. Well, because it's collaboration is one word. It's easier just to say collaboration. Technically, it is the easy way to do it. Um, hey, Baba. Lovely, lovely, mate. But yeah, no. The When it comes to climate change, I mean, we're here in the southwest of England. We are. It's really weird because where I am, I'm like 208 feet above sea level. So, like, I'm technically fine, but the town isn't. Like most of Torbay sits kind of in a bowl, and at the bottom of the bowl, I live in like up on the sides of the bowl, sort of thing. Yeah. Well, actually, up not up like up near the top and over the edge of the bowl. Um, and as sea rises, like Peyton, Torquay, Brixton seafronts are gonna be washed out. I mean, London is it's funny to look at London because I've done a video before looking at the projections for sea level rise, and just 3 feet will have 3 feet of global sea level rise will have London like Londoners walking at least under 2 foot water. It's like half a bowl. Like Torbay is kind of like geographically speaking, it's like half a bowl. Hey Donna, um, yeah, Torbay is like half a bowl when you see it on the map. Kind of sits out like that, um, and the geographically it kind of sits like half a bowl, and then you get to the sea, and I kind of most of the town is like down at the bottom of that bowl, whereas I live like up on the edge or towards the yeah. Anyway, the again London will see at least a foot or two of like going to be a lot of houses going to regularly see flooding in central London over the next 15 20 years. And it does also have to be said that when talking about climate change, we're not someone like me doesn't talk about reversing it. And there's a reason for that, and that's because we can't. what we can do is try to make the rise as least bad as possible. Do I ever stick my fingers in Uranus? No. I mean, Uranus is billions of miles away, so I'd be like, I mean, I'm no astronaut. Stop trying to meet my little sister. What? I barely even go out, so I don't know who you're talking about. Hey, Andrea. Um, so yeah, it All right, Gerard. Oh dear. 2 minutes silence at 11. Oh yeah, that's fair enough. I'll probably be probably finish this up before then. But I just wanted to put some things across about climate change that you don't really hear, and it we need to pay attention. It is the most important thing. Why don't I go out? Because it hurts. Quite frankly, I try to. I do try to get myself out, but it hurts. Quite frankly, my back and my knee are they're almost in constant pain. I know. Well, I know. I know. 2 seconds. Hello, Muppet. Hello, Muppet. Come here, then. Come here, then, Muppet. Oh, good girl. I know. I got that Muppet. Mwah, you good girl. Yeah. She's just woken up, so she's decided she's going to come and say hello to me. Hey, hey, Muppet. Hey, come here, then. Up. I know. No, up, up. Melon. Doing. Is it? You just got up? Is it? Is you just got up? Is that right? Oh, good girl. Come on then. Back out then. Come on then. Good girl. Right. Random interjection by the Muppet. Um, um, so yeah, it's we do have to pay attention to climate change. It is the most important thing. Biodiversity loss and sea level rise being brought about due to climate change should underline all policies, pretty much. Um, but I do want people to have. I do want people to think about the fact that the history of life on this planet is very resilient. Is one of resilience, and we humans, Homo sapiens, we are a very adaptable and resilient species. It's annoying to have to point this out consistently, but our species wouldn't be so widespread across the world if we weren't resilient, if we weren't adaptable. We are one of the most adaptable and resilient mammalian species, medium to large mammalian species this planet has seen. And I'm not an absolutist, so my knowledge my knowledge of evolution tells me not to go, oh, this is definitely going to happen, and this is definitely going to happen. All we can go off is the best likelihoods. And going off of the history of life on this planet, what's the best way to speed up climate change? Well, you know, reverse the changes that we've been making. I don't see why you'd want to do that. That would just make it harder to adapt. Why would you want to do that? We are one of the most adaptable species, but you don't want to make things harder for yourself, especially when you don't have to. And me personally, I actually prefer it when it's cold. So, you know, global climate change is a bitch for me no matter what happens. No matter what happens, like it's gonna get like my joints hurt in the warm, not in the cold, or they hurt more in the warm than they do in the cold, a lot more. So for me, I'm fucked anyway. But we are widespread across the planet because we are adaptable, because we are resilient, and we are one of, if not the only species to be conscious of its own evolution and able to do to consciously affect our evolution going forwards. I think these things have to constantly be repeated to people because all I get is, "Oh, we're doomed, we're doomed, we're doomed." We're not necessarily doomed, and there's plenty of people all over the planet doing things. Flags. Um, well, I've got an Irish Galmur with runic background here with the Yggdrasil tree, the wild tree. And then I have a Viking shield with uh, Elder Futhark runes and Anglo-Saxon runes, and some dragons on the inside. And then the rest of it, Queen posters, pretty much, because I don't care if if you got a problem with gay people, but Queen is the best band there will ever be. Hey, Diz. Um, yeah, like Queen, Queen, you'll never get any better, any better than Freddie Mercury. So yeah, Queen, not Wind. Queen. Freddie Mercury is, yeah. 2 minutes silence of remembrance for those who died in the First World War, the Great War. Blessed be those who lost. Blessed be those who remain. And blessed be those who follow in their footsteps. We're wow. I'm. This is by you can tell by the name of my channel. I'm not Christian, so I have no Christian ties to this. But I recognize, even as a leftist, even as a socialist, I recognize the sacrifice. I recognize the sacrifice. I'm not blind to that. I recognize the honor in fighting for one's nation. Many were duped into it, I will grant you. But many weren't. Many did want to fight. To imagine how different things would have been if they'd won. And then come the Second World War. Well, I voted for him. Not a chance. I'm a socialist, mate. Nigel Farage is a lying piece of shit. You want to blame anyone for the lack of housing in this country, you blame rich people. Rich people. The greedy bastards. But I can't vote Green or Labour either. I have to vote. No, he's not. Nigel Farage. He's a rich bastard that gets a lot of people who are poor to vote for him by going, oh, look at me, I'm one of the lads. I'm one of the. He's not one of the lads. A year and a half to 2 years ago, he was complaining he couldn't have a millionaire's bank account. Do you have a millionaire's bank account? I bet you fucking don't. He's not one of the lads. He's not one of us. He pretends to be. Do you know who actually does come from a background more closer to ours? Angela Rayner. He isn't a man of the people, you moron. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be polite about this. I'm sick and tired of people telling me this about Nigel fucking Farage. He is a liar. He's always been a liar. He lied to us about Brexit, and now people are believing him again. He turned around and said, if Brexit doesn't work, I'm leaving the country. Then why is he still fucking here? Because Brexit didn't fucking work. It was never going to work anyway. We wouldn't be so successful as a species without immigration. Like, you can argue with me about this all you like, but Anglo-Saxons wouldn't be on this island without migrating. We are ourselves descended from migrants. We are European. To be English is to be European. Well, no, considering the places where the Vikings came from, i.e., Norway and Denmark, and Sweden in part, but mostly with the ones that came here to this island, or to these islands, I should say, because they got the island as well. No, that was Norwegian and Danish. And what we got in Norwegian in Norway and Denmark today? Oh, that's right. Centre left governments who, whilst then, who found a way to, restrict migration without being racist. Yeah. Yeah. There's a bit of a difference there. Don't try and give me the Viking stuff, all right? Not only that, but the Vikings were one of the best for migrating. Like they went all that. The Vikings didn't just go west towards us. Like they settled in. They went eastwards as well. Like settled in what's now Ukraine and eastern and western Russia. They went all the way down into the Mediterranean. Like the Vikinger would not vote for fucking Farage. They wouldn't vote for someone with such a weak fucking chin, I'll tell you that much. He's a con artist. I'm sorry, but you know, we are European migrants. Vikings were, yeah, like no, they wouldn't. Like we as like and you know the Normans, all the peoples to this island are descended from migrants. No, a Viking would not vote for Farage. Not necessarily. Again, I'm not an absolutist. So possibly you could get one or two, but like considering they were all of like any Vikings that settled here would also be a migrant. Vikings were they were migrants. They were European migrants. So were we, the Anglo-Saxons. The Celts were European migrants to this island. The Romans were Mediterranean. Like they were more of an empire. But they still like you know some form of migration. This is the reason. One of the main reasons our species is so ubiquitous across the planet now. Like we wouldn't have got there without migration. And the Viking, like I love this idea that the Vikings were all violent. I mean, considering that like the Vikings did a lot of trade, like they wouldn't be able to do trade if they were just constantly violent and aggressive to peoples that weren't them. Just saying. TV shows are a bit misleading, you know. Films, bit misleading. We are children. We are we are the descendants of migrants ourselves. So it's hypocritical to have a go at newer generations of migrants. Just saying. And again, if you really want to have a go at someone for stealing all the houses, have a go at the rich fuckers like oh that's right, Nigel Farage and Richard fucking Lice. Sorry, Tice. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I don't really want to get on to talking about Nigel Frogface, especially when he denies the reality of climate change. So, you know, why should I listen to that fuck? Why should I listen to that fuck? Yeah, Angela Rayner. Yeah, I'm not a descendant. If you're English, if you're English, yes, you are a descendant of migrants. You might not like it. I don't care if you like it or not. Like that is the facts. To be Anglo-Saxon is to be European. We are European migrants. Like, what about 10,000 years ago? What about 10,000 years ago? Oh, you're talking about the the darker skinned, blue eyed people that were here before us. Those people. Because that's what we have record of. So, no. Our descendants, our ancestors, yeah, exactly. I have brown eyes too. Yeah. So you're a descendant of Anglo Saxons who have brown hair, brown eyes. Anglo Saxons. And a lot of people, a lot of English nationalists like to go, English for the English. Well, considering England had to conquer this place and then were conquered themselves by the Normans, it's a bit rich, you know. Then you've obviously got some kind. You've obviously got Eastern European in you as well. Then not just that, you know. And you also get mutations. That's another thing, you know, genetic mutations. But again, like, it's an artist's impression. No, it's in the genes. It's called science, not just art. It's called science. It's become pretty sophisticated in the past 20 years. And now America wants to topple all that, you know. It is. Um, but yeah, no, we Anglo Saxons originally came from what is now southern Denmark, northern Germany, and the most northern part of the Netherlands, the Frisia part of the Netherlands, because it wasn't just the Anglo Saxons, you know, the Angles and the Saxons that came here. Like, it was the Angles, the Saxons, the Frisians, and the Utes. So even then, when English nationalists talk about the Anglo Saxons, they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And even then, the Celts were here before the Anglo Saxons. Look at Devon and Cornwall, for fuck's sake. Devon and Cornwall, they're in our genealogies. There is still there is still ancient Celtic Britain in us, right? But even that comes from the European continent. Why? Because humans migrated originally from Africa. That's the paleontological record for you. We humans migrated out of Africa over millions of years. Over a million years, over a million, yeah, 500,000 to a million years. And then over the last 100,000 years in particular, we went on a massive migration spree all over the world. Do I smoke the devil's lettuce? Do I smoke weed? Yeah, I smoke a bit of weed. Muslims taking over Anglo Saxons. Mate, we were taken over by we were subjugated by the Normans 1,000 years ago. Fucking grow up. The human race is older than that. Right. The species Homo sapiens is about 1.5 million years old. We lived alongside at least 5 other human species, many people now have the genes of some of those, depending on where you live, where you're from in the world. So if you're from Europe, you are likely to have some Neanderthal in your bloodline. If you're from Asia, you're likely to have Denisovan, or Southeast Asian, you're likely to have Floriensis in your bloodline. Very small amount, but still, it's thought it's looking like that a gene from Neanderthals had some immunity against HIV. Do I goon? What the fuck is gooning? Hey, Alistair. Not too bad, not too bad. Getting random questions, my dude. I don't like Christians. Fuck off. I like, as a pagan, I'm not getting, like, the most that Muslims do to me is across the street from me. And even then, that's rare. I'm more likely to get abuse from Christians or atheists, and we pagans were here before the Christians or the atheists. So yeah, don't try me on that one. I I'm a heathen. I believe in the Anglo-Saxon gods: Frigg, Woden, Thunor, Tyr. Yeah, like fucking mosque. We don't even like. We don't actually have a mosque down here. We have an Islamic center, I think, in Torquay. That's about it. Honestly, I'm more sick and tired of the damn churches. But like, you know, there we go. Right, so you know, if I'm gonna have issues, if I'm gonna have issues with anyone, it's not likely to be a Muslim. It's more likely to be a Christian because the Christians are the ones starting arguments with me more often than not, and atheists. Although it's mostly the militant atheists that are like it. So again, you know, why should I have a problem with Muslims if they're not going to give me problems? They're not giving me problems. I mean, people were trying to say Rishi Sunak was Muslim because he had different color skin. That's just fucking racist. The guy's Hindu, for fuck's sake. Do you know the difference between Islam and Hinduism? Hinduism is multiple gods that are also one, whereas like Muslim is like Christianity and Judaism, where there is only one God. Did you realize that, right? He's not a fucking Muslim. See, that's racist. That's actually racist. He is Hindu. They're not. They're not even. They're not even like Muslim. Islam is related to Judaism and Christianity. The other two, the other one God religions. Crying out loud. Hinduism, they all look the same. Well, to other people of other skin types, we all look the fucking same because we all got white skin. So yeah, won't back down on the racism. He's Asian, so he's Muslim. That's ah! Oh, that's see again. That's racist. Like, freely admit that you're racist. Like, he doesn't. Again, he's Hindu, not Muslim. If you need, if you really need to, you know, and again, like, what do you mean? And I do have to say that, like, Turkish people are part European, part Asian. So where do you fall on that one? It's hilarious. Right. Yeah. No. If we can do, I'm not gonna put up with the racism. Like, it's all well and good having a laugh, but I'm not gonna put up with racism. Possibly. I mean, turkeys aren't from Turkey. Eh? They're from the North American continent. So, you want those dinosaurs? You go over that way. But yeah, we are a migratory species. I I do. When I look at, it's funny when people have a go at migration because again, the only reason we got here is through migration, and one of the only reasons we are so successful is because of migration. It's the same with birds. It's the same with avian modern with modern avian dinosaurs. It actually is. No, they're not. talking to someone who has actually spent their life looking at the history of life on this planet, and that actually includes turkeys. I love, but did a lot of people, a lot of British people don't seem to fucking realize that potatoes aren't are like they came from the Americas. They were brought back here during the Elizabethan era, during the times of Elizabeth the First. Okay, then spell smarter properly. And say Turkey, or at least spell Turkey properly. It's one thing to get confident about the stuff you think you know. What? America isn't. There are many Turkish Americans. And turkeys, as in the birds, are from the American continent. Just like potatoes. Just saying. And sweet corn. It's from the American continent. It's naturally like. No? Like, what? I can't explain why turkeys are called turkeys. I just know that people call them fucking turkeys. Or at least English speaking people call them turkeys. It's very likely that the Native Americans who first saw them called them something completely different. We are European, and the closest thing we have to a turkey on this side would have been something like the bustard bird, um, or even a grouse. And I suppose you can find those birds, like, or relatives of those birds, in Turkey. So, but do like again, this is funny when white Americans are fucking hilarious because they're like, oh, we've always been here. No, you haven't. Like, you're less than 300 years old. Wind your neck in. The Capercaillie is that's a good example, Billy. Do you think I'm do I think I'm smarter than you? Well, I can smell you and smarter better than you can, and I definitely seem to know the paleontological record better than you. Tomato. What about tomatoes? Tomato 8. I don't know what that's. Anyway, so yeah, it's quite funny. Like I get arguments with people who are to the right of me or to the socially conservative of me, and people who to the left or more progressive of me apparently as well. Like I can't get on. I can't agree with anyone. It seems. I'm not even a centrist. I'm not even coming at this from down the middle. I'm a fucking socialist. I want to see more state control of public services because it's blatantly obvious at this point that privately owned public services don't fucking work properly. The Turkish invented turkeys, mate. All right. What's the capital of the United Kingdom? Londinium, otherwise known as London. I can find out why are turkeys called turkeys. I mean, I don't know that. That'd be an interesting bit of trivia, but you know, oh my shit, laptop, will you work for me? Uh, turkeys originally from? First question. The Americas. Turkeys are originally from the Americas, specifically domesticated from the wild turkey, Meleagris galapovo. The Mayans of southern Mexico were likely the first to domesticate turkeys around 2,000 years ago, and the Native Americans also domesticated them for ritual purposes around 800 BC. So, yeah. Why they're called turkeys, though, that's a whole new. I knew that first one, but like, why are turkeys called turkeys? Like that? Why? It'd be funny if my guess was correct, though. It's going to be quite funny if my guess. The name for turkey comes from historical misinterpretations and trade connections, not from the country of Turkey. The term turkey for the bird has its roots in the 16th century when European explorers encountered the American wild turkey. The confusion began with the guinea fowl, a bird that was imported to Europe through trade routes controlled by the Ottoman Empire. Guinea fowl, which is because it's distantly related to the turkey, looks a bit like a turkey, and so the Europeans mistook it for a fucking guinea fowl. Anyway, yeah, the guinea fowls were known as turkey cocks, or turkey hens, so to speak, but guinea fowl. So yeah, I was fucking right. I know I was. I was just, to be fair, on the meaning, that was just a logical guess. I didn't actually know that. I knew the first bit. I knew turkey's originally from Turkey. Hey, Scott. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Why does what? Okay, mate. Yeah, the like without it is quite funny to me that we are in a way like dinosaurs, and I'm talking about birds because we have inhabited, like, even though we only temporarily inhabit Antarctica, we still at least partly inhabit almost every single environment on the globe, whether we are naturally adapted for that environment or not. We find ways to adapt. This is what I mean by it. Like, and birds are the same. Dinosaurs are exactly the same. Your bird is a dinosaur. Are you talking about women or are you talking about actual bird? Yeah, me too. Um, but no, birds are actual dinosaurs, right? And birds live on every single continent on the planet permanently, all year round. Every, like every single continent. Can't say that about almost all mammals, which we are. We can only temporarily inhabit Antarctica, not birds. Birds can permanently inhabit Antarctica. Penguins. Chickens are dinosaurs, my dude. Like, you can deny it all you want. You're talking to someone who's studied paleontology their entire life. Like, chickens are dinosaurs. You sound like a flat earther. Chickens are dinosaurs. Do you know the one dinosaur I don't fucking like? Seagulls. Seagulls are the one fucking dinosaur I don't like. Because they are bastards. I've never met a nice one. Oh, people get amused by them walking into shops and shit. Nah, the herring gull is a nasty bastard. Fucking robbing people and attacking people for no fucking random reason. Fucking bastards. Great fucking bastard. I hate him. I don't have so many problems with the black-headed gulls or any other type of gulls that we have. The herring gulls, they are fucking bastards. I know, yes, that's true, but I actually prefer the wing shape on a barn owl. The barn owl is my favourite dinosaur. If you talk about non-avian dinosaurs, then it's going to have to be Tyrannosaurus Rex. But my favourite amongst all dinosaurs will always be Albus titus, or Titus albus, the European Western barn owl. An owl is not. Again, birds are dinosaurs. Do I get crocodiles in Torquay? One, I'm not in Torquay. I'm like in one of the towns adjacent. But there are crocodiles, I'm pretty sure, in Payton Zoo. Crocodiles, not dinosaurs. Birds are dinosaurs. There's a head fuck for you. Quite honestly, mate. Like, seriously. Again, I spent my whole life studying this stuff. It still drives me mad now when people just try to tell me that pterodactyl's a dinosaur. It's a pterosaur. Pterosaurs, like crocodiles, are not dinosaurs. Crocs are not dinosaurs. Our humans don't know. We're mammals. Dinosaurs are reptiles. Birds, therefore, are reptiles. We are mammals. We are primates. Our closest relatives are bonobos and chimps. But yeah, my favorite dinosaur is the barn owl. Like this, it's glorious, and they are one of the most silent flyers in the animal kingdom. It's insane. Well, yeah, I mean it's hilarious because like like dinosaurs are a particular type of or a particular family on the tree of life, not just a single animal. Like why isn't a dinosaur a mammal? Because dinosaurs are reptiles. Okay, so the ancestors of dinosaurs and pterosaurs and crocodilians, and by crocodilians I mean crocodiles, alligators, caimans, gharials, what have you, right? They all come from archosaurs. Now, archosaurs and our lineage split off during the Permian period, which is the period before the dinosaurs, right? When we get to the Triassic, 210 million years ago, roughly, you get the very, very, very beginnings of us. Now, you might have seen images of this thing called the Dimetrodon. Right? It looks like a lizard, but it's got a massive sail on its back, right? It's not actually a reptile. It's really weird. Why do dinosaurs hide? Okay. Um, people seem to think reptile means cold blooded. What if I told you that great white sharks weren't actually cold blooded? And the general knowledge that people know is that fish are cold-blooded, but they're not. Well, see, Billy, you say eggs, but there are at least two mammal species that lay eggs. Do you know what they are? I'll give you some chat. I'll give you some time, right? Name me two mammals that can lay eggs. See how smart you think you are. Because I know the answer. I no, Billy. Right area of the world though. The reptile is a different order of animals to us. Usually characterized by scales. And and I mean even then reptiles, right? Not all reptiles lay eggs. Not all fish lay eggs. I mean, sharks don't lay eggs. No, pangolins are mammals. Believe it or not, pangolins are mammals. No, the two species of mammal are called monotremes, right? One is, as Scott said, the duck-billed platypus. The other is called the echidna. And the echidna is basically the Australian version of a hedgehog. But with much beefier spines. What? What? The echidna? I didn't see you put echidna. Who put echidna? No one said echidna. No, no one said echidna. So no. But Billy, I get where you were going with marsupials. The right area of the world, buddy, Australia. But yeah, no, the echidna and that's spelled Echidna. The echidna and the platypus are the only two mammals that lay eggs. There are snakes that give birth to live young. And it's weird because a lot of people don't realize that snakes are actually lizards. Oh, but they haven't got legs. Well, I dare you to look at a lot of cobras and whatnot that actually have vestigial legs. I didn't delete any comment. Isn't there some marsupial? Yeah, there are marsupials in South America. Um, the it look what it actually looks like in the paleontological record is that marsupials. Uh, I've said before that the ice cap, the polar ice caps, have only been around for around 34 million years. Monotremes go back, marsupials go back earlier than 34 million years, right? So the best uh, the the best minds looking at it now seem to think that marsupials originally came from what is now South America over a land bridge onto Antarctica, where before the ice caps, and there is plenty of fossil evidence to show of rainforests in what is now Antarctica before the ice caps were formed, 34 plus million years ago. Um, across Antarctica, and onto what is now Australia. And the reason why they're thinking this is because whilst it is known that there is faunal interchange, say between Africa and America, with just animals floating across on makeshift rafts, um, accidental rafts essentially, usually like a tree that gets washed out by a storm and just floats on the surface of the sea. It's quite surprising how different species have got into different areas of the world over the millions of years, hundreds of millions of years. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Velociraptors were tiny. They're about, I could probably fit it. Yeah, they're about yay tall, right? However, the Velociraptor in the Jurassic Park film was actually based on an animal which was previously called Velociraptor antiropus, but which is now called Deinonychus antiropus. Deinonychus is still a bit smaller than the thing you see on the screen, but at the time they were making the film, they were also they're like no, no, Jurassic Park was not a documentary. Come on. At the time that they were making the first film, some of the experts that they had on set to ask about what the dinosaurs should look like, they were saying that they just uncovered a new raptor, a new even bigger raptor than Deinonychus, right? Which is even bigger than the raptors you see in Jurassic Park, and it's called Utah Raptor. Utah Raptor was massive. Hang on a second. Um, compared to Velociraptor, Utah Raptor was huge. And again, just like you know, just like the other raptors, other raptorids, other dromaeosaurs, they have feathers. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they could get. They would Velociraptor mongoliensis. Um, could be anything between Petrus like it's between like yeah, 30 centimeters tall to about 60 centimeters tall. They were a bit longer than that, but yeah. What the hell's going on here? Apparently, I'm having issues with my internet. Are you guys? Am I coming through? Okay. I'm kind of glad I'm doing this on my phone at the second in that case because my internet is having issues. Am I coming through? Okay. No sound. I was gonna say, yeah. My phone will switch immediately to my data. Yeah, my internet's back, so it should be fine. Um, to a point, Billy. It dinosaurs. I mean, dinosaurs like Utah Raptor and what? Sorry, dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus Rex and the giant sauropods and whatnot. Yeah, they would probably have an issue now. But dinosaurs like Utahraptor, like Gallimimus, most of the smaller dinosaurs wouldn't have had a problem. I don't reckon. Um, Especially if you put them in places like Africa or China or whatnot. I didn't, with some of the smaller forms, you put them here, and they would adapt very well to our climate. The dinosaurs lived on Earth for 65 million years today. 180 million years, my friend. 180 million years. They died. The non-avian dinosaurs were wiped out 66 million years ago. Yes, they were on the planet for over 180 million years. The beginning of the age of the dinosaurs is 210 million years ago. Um, a lot. I mean, it depends on the dinosaur. Even today, when you look at modern dinosaurs, it can depend on the bird. Like pigeons are nowhere near as intelligent as crows or parrots or eagles or falcons. So, I mean, a sort of giant long necked sauropod wouldn't be anywhere near as intelligent as something, say, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex or a Utah Raptor. So it does depend. It can depend on what more often than not. Do you think there was lost advanced civilization? Humans aren't that old. I mean, we are at most 3 million years old. So yeah. Anyway, going back to Utah Raptor because my internet's finally working again. I was saying before how at the time of the making of the first Jurassic Park film, the raptors, they knew the raptors were bigger than Velociraptor in real life, but the paleontologists on site were saying to the people making the film, "Look, that we found a bigger raptor, right? They hadn't named it at that point, but it's what we now know as Utah Raptor, and it measured approximately 20 to 25 feet long and stood about 5 to 6 feet at the hip. It was massive." The Perry Spirit map, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Antarctica is only thought, the ice cap at Antarctica, as I've stated before, is only 34 million years old. So, and the reason why I bring this up again is because life before that had survived and had thrived without there being polar ice caps. We can adapt, and we are one of the most adaptable species on the planet. You know, so Graham Hughes of Politics Social thinks that COP is useless, and I can see where he's coming from. But until we have another viable platform, global platform, I still think that Starmer's speech at COP30 was fucking bang on. I have issues with Starmer, as does fucking everyone. But his speech at COP30 was bang on. Yeah, I've seen them, Scott. I grew up like the stuff you're talking about is the stuff that I grew up seeing come out for the first time. You know, I saw these concepts before they were massively looked at online. I was looking at this stuff in books in the 90s when I was like 6. So we are. I think what I'm meaning to say here is that we are definitely heading towards difficult times. Migration is more likely due to global climate change and sea level rise, especially. It's hardly surprising that if an area of the world becomes unlivable, humans will move out of that part of the world to live somewhere else. Why do you think the Vikings did it? The Vikings, a lot of the reason for the behavior of the Vikings is because that and a lot of them settled here in England, northeast England, and in Scotland and in Ireland, right? Why did they settle? Because the farmland was better. What? I love this. I love this. Right. What about the Romans growing grapes at Hadrian's Wall? Right. They weren't great wine grapes for a start. That's why they didn't carry on the practice. Notice if you look through British history at the time, right? You'll notice how a lot of Roman practices were adopted by the British Celts, right? the people who are living here at the time. The Romans tried growing their wine up north. Even now, wine can be a bit tricky to do in Britain. And around 1600, from about 1600 till the Industrial Revolution, essentially, or at least partway through the Industrial Revolution, the Earth went through a bit of a cooling phase. Went through a little mini ice age, as it's known. Um, and that essentially stopped them from growing any more grapes there. Like, I, it was this one thing brought up by this dickhead reform dude from fucking from up in Durham, because he thought he wanted to sound clever. And then when when you had people actually asked the actual archaeologists about it, they were like, "Yeah, it wasn't exactly a successful grow." So yeah, like it didn't grow very well, and if it did, it would be more successful. So yeah, I do like that one though. It's hilarious. Just all these things that the nationalists keep trying to grab onto. Oh no! Look! 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 What do you mean climate change isn't real? You're an idiot. No, no, no. We went through a mini ice age, right? And now we've started warming the planet back up again, but at a rate it won't that many species can't adapt to. And it was warmer before before the polar ice caps. We evolved during the ice ages. That's when we evolved. You can argue with me with this all you like. I bet you haven't been studying the history of life on this planet like I have for more than 20 fucking years. It's not in the Roman writings that this country is perfect for. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. I actually listened to a university study at Gresham from Gresham College about a university lecturer from Gresham speaking at Gresham College, who spoke about this. One of the guys who found the evidence for it, which no, the Romans tried to, and that it failed. I already said this. They it wasn't a successful grow. Wine was not being manufactured here in the UK. They tried to grow it here in the UK, in Britannia, but it didn't go very well, because even though it was warmer than it had been in from the 1600s till partway through the industrial revolution, it's still towards the end of the ice age, and still nowhere near as warm as the Mediterranean. Vineyards were as far north as what vineyards, and they failed. They were attempts to grow wine in Britain. It did not work. Actually, we are. The general consensus is we are heading out of the ice age. Yes, they did. They did fail. You can go along with the refuck bollocks all you like. I'm not gonna acquiesce to you trying to railroad it, mate. It's not happening. Actually, listen to the archaeologist who found it. And the ice caps are melting. We are leaving the ice age. We're transitioning out of the ice age. I didn't say we had left it. I said we are transitioning out of. It's called nuance. Fucking climate change isn't real. My gods. And the global temperatures now are warmer than it's been for more than 10,000 years. So yeah. No, actually, an ice age is an age of glaciation. We're not in an age of glaciation. We're in an age of where the glaciers are melting. Glaciation is when glaciation happens, when more glaciers are made. That's not happening. Anyway, the point the point I'm trying to make is that when you look at climate change, I'm not someone who is being doomer. I'm not saying we're all gonna die. What I'm saying is that our species is one of, if not the most adaptable species on the planet that this planet has ever seen, and is one of, if not the only species to be conscious of its own evolution and able to change that evolution, manipulate that evolution itself going forwards, right? We're actually, you know, it's a case of like we can mitigate, we can adapt to what is to come. Yeah, no, no, mate. Again, I've been actually studying this stuff since I was like 8 or 9, more than 20 years. So yeah. Hey, Darren, how's it going, man? I got some people arguing with me about one ice ages. It's quite funny. People trying to argue with me what it's simple, mate. Like you can say Google it or you like I birds are dinosaurs, and you tried to argue that one with me. I know what an ice age is. We've actually had several. Ever heard of Snowball Earth? I have. Happened twice. Um, actually, the consensus is that we were within an interglacial period, and now we are heading out of it because of the changes we are making to the climate. Although, yes, we are technically still in the quaternary, the part of this ice age, but the general showed that the Earth was beginning to warm again anyway. The problem that we are warming the planet a lot faster than it ordinarily would do. Even if we had an event like the Deccan traps from the late Cretaceous, or even um, the Siberian traps from the late Permian, that would still those events still took hundreds, if not thousands, of years to properly affect ecosystems of the planet. What we're doing is affecting ecosystems across the planet within the space of less than 200 years. It's ridiculous. But again, I repeat myself. I might be someone who is fighting to make sure that people recognize that this is happening. However, I'm not a doomer. I'm not someone going around saying we're all gonna die, we're all gonna die, because we can't. We're not all gonna die. It's life is going to become a lot tougher, just as life has done for many times over the more than 850 million years of life, multicellular life history. But and yes, I said 850, but million. But we're not down and out, and despite the moves that Farage, that Trump, that Russia, that Saudi Arabia keep trying to make in slowing us down, I'm not saying there won't be some benefits. Like you're not talking on that says not saying there won't be some benefits to global climate change. The issue is that how fast the Earth is warming. Now we why have I argue with a lot of people saying we need to reverse climate change. You can't. It's not going to happen. Is try to make it so it won't be as bad as it necessarily could be. It's called mitigation and adaptation. Well, Scott, there was some debate about naming it the Holocene or the Anthropocene, um, but the general consensus at the moment is that humans left our permanent um, record in the rock. I would argue that. I argue probably have left a permanent mark of our existence in the rock, but at the moment, consensus that are still the general consensus is that we are still in the Pleistocene, the Quaternary stage of Pleistocene. Um, a Holocene, but we're talking about a new era. There was, like I said, there was talk about this being the Anthropocene, but it's it's an argument on that one. Oh, what? I'm having issues with the internet again. I'm having internet issues. Saying I've got full signal. Back. Plasticine, not plasticine age. Pleistocene. Yeah. It's Scott. It's not plasticine. Pleisticine. Pleistocene. Um, well, the argument Holocene as well. But again, yeah, there are to say that we're in the Anthropocene. However, again, the general scientific consensus was that we haven't quite left our mark in the relay yet to definitively say that. Um, sorry, sorry, autistic moment. Then, but yeah, it's it is literally easy. I mean, has gone on about carbon capture, hydrogen, and how it's just a complete con. It's not a complete con. It isn't insecure. I'm back. That okay. That am I back? Carry on. Um, like carbon capture and hydrogen aren't complete scams. What they are, what they are not are, are cures. They're not solved. You know, like carbon capture in the most that most people know, they're only really good for concrete production. But we will need concrete. Um, but the only good model I've seen for carbon capture stuff is moving carbon the sea, and kelp does that. So it wouldn't surprise me if we humans once again find inspiration from nature to create technology for. And did you know that suits for pilots, quite a few now are designed using inspiration from blood vessels you find in giraffes. What I don't understand, you should be able to hear me. I'm not on my laptop. That is fine. I don't get it. My internet's fine. Yeah, I'm confused. Can you hear me? Oh my god. All right then. Well, I'm gonna end it there then. If my internet's going to crap, so I'd spoken about I spoke about some of I spoke about a lot of random crap. So yeah. All right. If it's breaking up on the stream then, so you guys have a good day. 3 blessings and my stewardship badges and my stewardship service. Have a good day.